The Formal Gamer, podcast for those with exquisite taste.
Welcome to Season 6 of The Formal Gamer. The University of Threadless has produced some peculiar pupils, but none more peculiar than Goros, Farven, and Sotru. They face an assignment unlike any other: to uncover the secrets of class and discover the origins of the dragon cults. Will they pass or fail? Will they live or die?
Hi guys, welcome to episode 29 of season 10 of the Formal Gamer podcast. Sorry we're out on a Monday again. Last week's delay has set my whole schedule behind, so this week's episode is obviously on that delay. We should be back for Saturday releases this Saturday. But more important than my schedule is that you enjoy the episode.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Formal Gamer podcast. Last episode, we had a little bit of a recap. We progressed the story forwards. We spoke to Wellborn, who had been holding together this magical labyrinth of challenge rooms that you had found out were simply there to sort of balance the time freeze that was occurring around the great mage Torfidus, who is trapped in combat with some mages from yesteryear, and by yesteryear we literally mean like 200 years ago. You as a group of students and roaming rogue Raven, nice bit of alliteration there, thank you, pat on the back, you had agreed that you were going to help out and try and defeat Torfidus, as it appeared that the magical construct, the powers which were holding it together, were failing. You powered up your characters via the quick means by stealing some rather dubious power-up level sort of potions from the witch Una. However, not all of you got that. No. And you were told by Wellborn that you, Farven, were you to try and enter the battle that was raging ever so slowly in the centre of this dwarven mountain. Were you to take part in that in your current state, you would surely die.
I'll get eaten alive!
And based on the
fact... But I said I'll do it anyway!
Indeed. And based on the fact...
record show!
Based on the fact that you felt when you were of previous level 5, when you first met Una, you wouldn't have even been able to put a scratch on her. The difference between you then and what you've seen happen to your colleagues, most notably Goros, who is now just floating in the air on a sort of cloud of magicness and storm. You feel sort of underwhelmed. You agreed to go through and go to another room where Wellborn reckoned that he would be able to balance out the power of the time of this construct and make time go faster for you in this next room to balance out the slowness that has been occurring in the central area of the cavern. He said it was risky, and he advised that only you and Sotru, who is a physical construct, golem type creature, were to go in, and that he wouldn't be able to manage to specify how long you were in there. He gave you this option before. You guys opted not to go for it. You opted to go for the power-up route, where he could have specified how many years. But at the moment, he said, I just can't control it. You don't know how long you'll be in there.
We're in here for the long haul, Sotru.
When you stepped through the door, Farven, you were mid-20s when you were at uni, I think.
Yes.
Young for an Eladrin who can live up to sort of 700 years. Yes. Wellborn himself looks to be in his later 600s. He has been, due to the time dilation, been here a very long time. You stepped through with Sotru, and Sotru with Bebop and Bo. Whatever. Your three...
Bee-boo-bo.
Bee-boo-bo. You went through with your little newly found construct friends that you had saved from one of the challenge rooms.
Yes.
You entered into a forest, you saw a tower in front of you, and you had begun reading, Farven, had begun reading the tomes that Wellborn had given you. His personal magical tome, which you immediately recognised to contain a lifetime of magical training, potential magical training for you, and a much smaller book that sort of outlined some of the stuff that was going on in this construct of prison and time stoppage. So, we left with you looking at the image on this pedestal type affair, an image of what was happening when this construct was started in the centre of the mountain. Torfidus, a giant black dragon, several smaller dragons of differing colours, dwarves fighting, all of them, and mages in a circular fashion around a almost quarry-like spherical cutout in the mountain where time was at a stop.
Well, we're going to have to train very hard, Sotaru.
Yes.
How long have we been in this so far?
We'll say it's taken you a day to acclimatise. You've briefly looked through the books. You've recognised what's what. You've managed to get the pedestal on working. How do you... What would you...
Well, I've got a lot of books here to research spells and then practice them. Sotaru, what are you going to do to get stronger? You're already very strong. Are you still strong?
I'm gonna go do some extreme physical activity while listening to you read out loud. I learn and play.
So, Sotaru, yes, you had taken some of the potion, hadn't you? And you were levelled up to 20.
Yeah.
You inferred from what Wellborn said that actually this was not a permanent thing, and these powers that you had would wane.
Yeah.
And he said there was a risk that you will not come out as powerful as you were before, depending on how long you are in this area.
This is true.
You do your training, you go around, you read some more books. Yes. At any point, would you go try the door back to the area?
I don't think so. I think we're... Well, I'll look through the instructions for... Because we have one book which was the instructions for the place we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Does it say anything about exits or
time, measuring time?
It doesn't give you a way to measure how long you have been in relation to others. It is more to do with the general principles of the whole balancing thing, and if you are the one controlling it. You at the moment are not one controlling it.
Okay.
But maybe after training you would understand how to control it, and then you would understand where it is or what is going, or you could even open the door for us, etc.
Well, I think for now I'll just train on normal magic spells.
Yep.
So I'll be reading through those books.
So you look at and to almost get up to in game terms the next level, you think this would be years of training. It's
Okay.
This is a long haul type affair.
Okay. So I start looking through necromancy books.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let's do some serious damage. Sotaru, I don't normally dabble in necromancy, but extreme measures call for extreme spells.
I think it's always good having more knowledge.
So I'm going to go look for any books on necromancy for high level spells.
Yeah, there are. Well, even within the tome that Wellborn gave you, there are some examples in there. He didn't seem to favour it, but their spells are outlined. The library that's there is voluminous and broad. It's both magic, historical, all sorts of books in there. Even a few cookery books, sorry.
Okay. Great.
Not ones with recipes for golems, though.
I imagine not.
So looking through the book, I find a spell called Circle of Death. Oh, Sotaru, this one's caught my eye. I can do a lot of damage, like to Torfidus in the middle and all his dragons. One big area where I drain and suck the life out of.
Tell me more about it.
Well, apparently it's making a sphere of negative energy. I need to research this negative energy and work out how it works. Maybe if I could just decay one plant in here, I can blow that out over years and years of practice.
But would it hurt us?
Yes, I wouldn't do it on you.
You mentioned a radius. How are you going to not hit us?
Well, I would probably do it where you're not standing.
Okay.
But you're right, we need to coordinate. We're going to need to coordinate when we get into that battle room.
Maybe I should read some books on strategy.
Yes.
Why are you laughing?
Because I think we're going to need a bloody good strategy. I feel like we're going to need to establish a base camp in that room. Somewhere we can be safe from dragons attacking.
So you go through, I mean, the Circle of Death spell itself takes you a long time to both comprehend how to do it, different form of magic to something you've ever done before. And we are talking like a year. We are talking a long time for you as Farven Esquire. I forget your full title. From the Thelathel Forest to learn this stuff. We are talking this is not just like an afternoon's reading. This is a long, long time. And as this is going on, Sotru, you find yourself getting weaker. You actually are not improving. You are going downhill.
Sotru, don't be disheartened. We knew this would happen.
I'm not. What goes down will go up.
Should you have chosen to go up the top of a tree and do your yoga and you find perfect balance and all your chakras are in line, you go up the next day and you just can't find balance. And
I fall down.
Yes. Not out of choice this time. No. And this is a downward spiral for you. You are getting less and less powerful.
Sotru's okay with that. He was expecting this. He was warned about this. And also he's quite enjoying getting to know Farven, Yoga Farven, and reading all the books.
Levelling up in yoga as well.
Looking out for bear cubs. It's good times.
So there are...
He's actually completely forgotten about Torfidus and the Big Maze.
I do tell you every morning, sorry, remember? Look at the glass cabinet which holds our doom. I know it's quite nice out here, but remember the doom.
Do you think there's any routines you would get into?
Yeah, I think Sotru would have his kind of like morning exercises where he just goes and smashes trees. Does his little yoga.
Sorry, what was that?
Smashes trees.
Right. So do yoga, smash a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go through some like agility exercise stuff while listening to Farven read out loud and study.
So I'll be
and then do reading like in between
the library
all the
with the window
exercise.
open, reading out the window.
Yeah.
And how do you think that? I mean, how is you? Are all your other Bibu and Bo doing yoga with you as well?
Yeah.
Are you trying to interact with them? Are you
Yeah.
trying to teach them stuff?
I think actually as we spend more time together, especially now that we have a bit of freedom, we're not kind of going through a maze or we're not always being under pressure.
You manage to stop B trying to just walk in front of you.
Yeah,
as
actually
your guard?
we find a way to communicate to the point where I start to see some communication working, and we are starting to be able to communicate in ways where I can tell them kind of what I want or what I'm
Is that
looking
like
for.
verbally or is it like with hands?
Hand signals?
Yeah.
Hand signals and body language.
Right. So you just become sort of like a really close-knit
Family. Yeah.
yoga team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're almost an extension of me.
Like almost they're an extension of you. I like that. Okay. You have time you can, create different fists for yourself, all this sort of stuff. You have got literally all the time in the world.
Nice. I'm having fun.
All right. So we keep studying.
How long has it been so far?
Let's say it's been 2 or 3 years.
Years have passed.
Farven, you're not.
I'm growing beard now. I never had a beard before. My word.
So
How are you? How are you?
shave.
Just the fact that the two of you are just in this room on your own.
Well, we've got a lot of books to get through. We basically have all the box sets of the best stuff. I'm in the forest, so, we are isolated, but Father never liked other people too much anyway. So
how does he feel about Sotru?
he's admiring Sotru's growth.
Well,
Both.
Well, I mean,
Well,
at this point,
his
Sotru's still in
personal
decline.
growth, he seems to be more coordinated.
So his personal growth with his construct seems to be increasing. Your personal strength and everything seems to be in decline.
I feel like I'm watching my child become a parent.
Okay.
Because you're trying to
I
command
know.
over your eyes rolled quite a lot there.
No, it was just funny because you said child, I was like, oh, like a baby, and then you said have a child. I was like, oh, baby having a baby.
Cool story, bro. Thanks for that.
I mean, he asked for my face, and I was like, that's not my face. I was just,
I thought
do you
my
think-
baby had a baby.
Do you, Do you think there'd be any
And my
disagreement?
baby's mega strong.
Do you think there'd be any disagreements? Then you think it'd be all plain blue skies and sailing?
Well, we disagree. I've got nothing to command.
I think. Oh, it depends on Farven. I think Sotru's quite happy.
I think,
getting
yeah, I
along.
don't think Sotru would be the problem.
I think it depends if Farven starts playing gravelly hot tricks again.
Do you think
we're
that
gonna
Farven
have
would get bored?
problems.
Do you think that he would do stuff like
No,
that?
because he's in a place of contentment. He loves being in a forest.
And I guess you're not in a place where people judge you. Or
A
you
forest
have
where,
any of that
where
stuff anymore.
we're losing a tree a day.
Well, I presume the trees would grow back.
Well, trees don't grow back overnight, do they?
But it's a magic construct. So.
Well, that's a spell for me to learn then, isn't
there you
it?
go.
Indeed.
Quick, to the tree spells! Look through the druid section. How do I regrow trees?
So you start learning that sort of stuff.
Cool. One morning, Sotru goes to Farven and lays his heavy hand on Farven's shoulder.
Remember when you sucked my fingers?
No, he does not say that.
Not doing that again.
Farven?
Sotru, how
What?
are you finding yourself in this place?
Well,
Good.
almost sounds like you're asking me how I got here, but that's obviously not your
No,
question.
finding yourself, not your location.
Yeah, no, I know I answered.
Did you have
Anyway,
soul, Sotru?
so I would like you to help me with something.
What's that, Sotru?
I'm quite scared of falling asleep again.
Oh, fascinating.
I would hope while you're researching, you could find a way to build in some magical mechanism to stop me from sleeping should that ever happen.
Yes, I could do that. I could definitely do that. I'll have to research it. But if I go through, maybe something to either wake you up or give you immunity against being charmed into falling asleep.
That would be lovely.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna go research that.
You spend inordinate amount of time. You looking for something that you would have to cast on him, or are you looking for
I
something
don't
that...
know. I'll look it up. So I
Well,
don't
no.
know if
What's your intention? Is it something to be innate within him to stop him, or do you?
that would be better.
Like
But if
permacraft?
if
So
that's
my
too
like
hard to
my
get-
like Sotru's key thing is like he doesn't like the lack of control he has about the fact that he was asleep for 100 years and he had to wait around for a professor who happens to know how to awaken him.
Turn him on.
So it terrifies him the fact that he might just be put to sleep and no one will ever wake him up. And he has no control over that. He's completely out of control.
Which was one of the reasons you disliked doing it so much, because
Exactly.
it sort of
Disliked is
PTSD
a word
from your
for it.
long sleep.
Exactly. And now he has a lot of trust with Farven, and actually he sees an opportunity to open up and request that.
I mean, it's a painful process. There is stuff where you accidentally send him to sleep, which
And then go a great distance before waking him up.
and you work through this process. I'd imagine that perhaps you came to well, not blows, but perhaps blows. I don't know how. You...
Sotru would still be instinctively getting very angry if he wakes up and realizes he's.
Seniors retreat,
However,
run away!
there are
However, I think over time, with him consciously wanting this help and him being put to sleep, he actually comes to.
I think the
he
conditions,
calms.
the conditions of the testing is Farven gets up a tree and he passes it on to Sotru. So he's at
and
the
waits
same
to see if the
distance.
tree gets felled.
Yeah, if it gets felled, he can just jump away.
So the years go on, and after about after about 12 years, you think that you have learnt an incredible amount of magic. You think that you are almost at your master's level when it comes to university life. You think that there are spells that you have comprehension of that you had no idea you would ever be able to sort of reach. Sotru, your interaction with your other golems has been perfected. You work as a unit, as a team. And what skills you lost from the power pills you took, or power potions you took, you have regained in strength through them. Your physical strength is working as a unit with them, and you have gained additional skills and additional strength through them. So where you dropped from, in game terms, level 20 back down to where you were, level 5,
Yeah.
you have regained that. You are a intensely powerful fighter.
Cool.
And you have worldly intelligence that you did not have before. Sotru's childlike mind is no more.
Yeah.
He is an adult.
Cool. Badass.
His interaction with people on a personal and physical level is different to what it was before. And that's where you find yourself. Magic-wise, you have buffed yourself, Farven, up to a point where you would be a master in your own right at university. One of the highest levels a magician can achieve. Not well practiced in the field, just purely theoretical. You would not place yourself at the same level as someone, say, as Torfidus. But insofar as your undergraduate level of university life, you have reached a master level. And you find yourself still in this small forest. The sun goes up, the sun goes down. And you have your tower. You've been through some trials and tribulations with Sotru.
So, Sotru, now I feel it might be time for us to dig into what's happening in that dastardly room that holds our doom.
Back to reality, I guess, Farven.
Oh, not yet. I think there's more to crack when I've been musing on what this glass table has been showing us. I've been concentrating on just building up my powers, but could there be a way that we could see more? So we talked about the other book.
Yeah.
And is there anything more I think I can research?
You think that you might be able to create a portal and a room within this room?
Yes. I can use I can make an illusion of what's happening before us, maybe. I can make a test chamber for us to step into a construct of the room that we see before us. The room that holds Torfidus. I can make a construct of Torfidus, his dragon. We could test our metal to see if we are strong enough.
Sounds like a good idea.
So unlike the rooms that you were in before when you were a group, you think that this would literally just be an illusion. It would be a non-interactable illusion room. You would be able to rerun and run at the current level that you're at. You'd be able to watch everything from an almost 3D sort of, a holodecky type affair, type of room.
Could we run different scenarios, like multiple different scenarios with those illusions to test different strategies?
You think with Farven's testing, you might. You would have to be, again, inputting what you think might happen. You'd have to be researching all that. And you reckon you could do that?
I want to try a test. I've set up the room. It's taken months and months. But I think I've managed to set up the seed for that illusion of a construct. Should we see what happens?
I think it sounds like a great idea.
So can I try and set up an illusion of what happens if you put Sotru, me, Sotru, Farven, Goris, Raven in there?
And you want time to go on?
Yeah, it's move forward, simulating what happens. Let's send Goris in first.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens if Goris tries to fight the dragon.
So you go in and you see the dragon. I think we described there were some mages around the edge of this sort of big quarry-like area. And the dragon was sort of blowing fire around the edge and appeared to be killing the mages that were around, that were maintaining the magical sort of freezing time field around it. And the dragon's fire goes round and you see these people effectively melting under the intense heat and dying as they stand. So you're wanting to just attack straight off, or?
Yeah, let's send Goris in there on his cloud to try and stop the dragon with 200 gallons of water.
Drown him.
Well, no, I think you can pour the water over the people. Maybe that'll stop the flames. What would Goris do in that situation?
Or perhaps we, us four, should try to hold the dragon down while you guys deal with the remainder.
What, us four? Who? Sotru, Bibu, and Bo?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. How are you going to get up to the dragon?
Is the dragon flying?
So you go through many permutations.
Yes.
And
does Goris get eaten in every one?
Or at least 95% of them.
Not 95%, no. But a large amount of these permutations are unsuccessful, and either Goros, Raven, yourself, many people die, and you have some scenarios that appear as if you might be successful, but they rely on certain things happening, and when you try and retest them, they don't happen.
It's too random and chaotic, Sotru. I can't work out what we need to do. I can't work out the pattern.
It's too complex for somebody on their own, a magician on their own, to be able to work this out, because you are having to predict the actions yourself. So you're effectively betting against yourself. You're playing against yourself, and you can't. You can work out strategies that might or might not work, but ultimately, what is actually going to happen still needs to be told.
Sotru, you've been reading strategy books. Do you have any idea of a strategy we could go into?
So, having watched all of this, and from my book, so in this illusion, what do we see? So we see a dragon,
A giant adult black dragon in the middle.
Yep.
You see Torfidus standing with other smaller dragons around him.
how many
fighting.
small dragons?
3 smaller dragons around him, and there are other dragons in the air.
Okay.
Around the area.
How many?
There are dwarves fighting. You count up and you see another 3 in the air.
Okay, so 6 small dragons, 3 in the air, 3 around Torfidus, and a big black dragon. Is that all of the enemies, or are there more?
No, there are dwarves fighting there. There are also some, as we said, dragonborn and tiefling and humans in red cloaks, again fighting with dwarves and humans in and amongst this town.
Are the numbers equal, excluding the dragons and Torfidus?
No, there are more dwarves.
But there are dwarves on both sides, or dwarves just on Torfidus'
yeah, there are,
side?
but there are a majority of dwarves on what you would term to be your side.
Oh, so on our side we have more numbers than Torfidus' side.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
And the power appears when you look at it to be greater in their favour. They appear to be more powerful, and the fact that there is a giant dragon in this area.
So, looking at that, would we say that actually the most dangerous enemies are the big dragon, the 6 dragons, and Torfidus?
Yes.
Okay, so
That's all. It's just that lot.
well, no, I mean, I think it's some pretty.
And all the dragons.
I think it's a pretty important question, because if you don't ask about the others, maybe there's a lurking kraken.
Yeah, that
or,
would be a surprise.
or a lurking unicorn.
I didn't get a response.
So would I know any from my study? Would I know any strategies or weaknesses of black dragons that I could possibly use?
Yes.
Do I can roll?
Research.
Unicorns.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Roll it. Yeah.
Okay. What would it be?
I just roll it. Well, I mean, to be honest, you've got all the time in the world as it goes.
Yeah.
You would know that they have innate resistances. So, say they were forced to make a saving throw.
Yeah.
And this is in game terms, really. If they were forced to make a saving throw, they could resist it a certain number of times a day, just auto win, kind of like some of the skills that you have.
Okay. But would they be weaker against, I don't know, water or certain
So you
types
would
of
know
attack?
that a black dragon can breathe air and water.
Okay.
So they're amphibious.
Oof, okay.
And you know they would be able to attack you multiple times a turn and within your own turn.
Okay. Do they have any weak points where we could attack, like I don't know, underbelly or neck or?
You would think that those areas might be slightly better areas to attack.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
There's nothing that's jumping out. You're running all the permutations, and you just
Okay.
you have a much better idea of what's going on there. But
Okay.
Farven, I think maybe myself and B, Boo and Bo should try to hold down the black dragon, the large
How are you
one.
going to get up there?
I think I could.
How big is the dragon compared to Sotru? Actually, that's a
big.
good question. Actually.
And it's mid-flight though, isn't it?
I don't think.
yeah,
so.
it's
flying.
flapping above the cavern, blowing fire around.
Ooh, okay. Well,
I mean, you run through several possibilities and permutations, like the ones that you're sort of talking about now. you can't find one which is categorically successful every single time, but let's just say you have a toolbox of ideas that might give you more of an advantage were you to try them in battle. You know the layout of the land. It's not going to be a surprise to you, and I will affect it if you go and actually find the vista inside to be the same as what you see within this crystal ball, then I will allow you to have certain advantages when it comes to rolling.
Would
Again, you spend another a couple of years, many years looking at this, running through permutations and all this sort of stuff.
I've got to say, though, I've got a pretty good plan for the opening gambit we could use to save these wizards. But I think it will require us planning and doing stuff now to act it.
I was actually going to see if you perhaps read or studied the fashioning of magical weapons. Maybe we could fashion some kind of metal rope to collar the dragon and hold it down.
That's a great idea. But, Sotru, that's stage 2 of the plan, 'cause stage 1 is getting up there.
But if it's... couldn't we throw it?
Maybe. Or maybe if we were on the dragon, maybe then we could apply it very easily.
How would we get on the dragon?
Well, I'll show you how.
Blue Peter moment.
Farven casts teleport and puts Sotru at the top of a tree.
Oh, nice.
I love it.
You want Bee Boo and Bo up there as well?
Maybe just me for
I
now.
teleport Bee Boo and Bo up there as well.
What, like a human pyramid on top of the tree?
You can handle it, you're strong!
I would assume Sotru just like goes straight down through the tree because of all the weight.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
The branches are snapping off, you just go down and you're like hugging it, and all the branches below you are just snapping, and you end up, you're standing on the floor with 2 deep footprints next to the tree, with Boo on your shoulder, B on his shoulders, and Bob on the top.
And we all look super happy.
And I suppose you're happy because that is how we shall get on the dragon.
We are.
And yeah, so you work through that plan, and it seems like, again, you can't guarantee it would work. You don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, it's a plan.
It's literally baked in the spell. We can't guarantee it's going to work. There's a whole table for it and everything.
It's even got an expiry date.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so you run that permutation, you run it many times. It goes differently a lot of the times, but there are some similarities.
Well, the more familiar I am, then...
And you practice these spells that you've chosen, and you've got these down to a T now. Okay?
Is there any scope for researching, I don't know, making a magical implement to...
You don't think because this is a illusionary world, you don't think you would have any of the materials needed to actually make something.
Yes.
All the time. Okay. Well, no, you've got the time, but...
Yeah. Farven, do you think you could learn to control this maze or magical construct we're in? Perhaps taking over control from... Wellborn?
Don't know.
You would research, you spend another half year, you don't think a single person can do it, and which is the reason why this is failing. There are clearly some mages who are doing exactly the same thing that Wellborn is. In balancing the time dilation inside, who appear to be dying, and there is absolutely no way that one mage could ever hold that and do it.
I don't think it's possible, Sotru. I think we're going to have to go in there and take it ourselves. I mean...
Maybe
if only Gorus was here.
Could do it.
Gorus has become very powerful, but he's still just one frog.
One particularly moist frog.
A very moist and a very powerful frog, but still...
Just a frog.
I think we got a new catchphrase! How's Gorus feel about that from the grave?
Oh, Gorus isn't here!
Gorus is not here!
Gorus can't say
Just a frog!
Alright. See how this is going. Let's see.
Is there... if I feel I've reached a plateau, is there more to learn?
You feel like you've reached a plateau with the materials you have with you. You've been in here, but bearing in mind, you have been in here for about 15 years now.
15 years.
So
I
you-
thought it was
you
going
are-
to be a
but
much
is that
longer.
You are a 45-year-old Eladrin now, whereas you were mid-20s.
But is
very
that
young.
15 years we've experienced, but actually the construct is slower? So actually, in outside time,
In outside times, you've probably been a couple. You might not even have been 5 seconds, 10 seconds. You don't know. Wellborn was very, very specific. He could not balance stuff
Gauge,
now.
yeah.
It's the construct had deteriorated too much. Whereas before, he would have been able to say, how long do you want to go in for? 10 years. Right, 10 years. You're in there for 10 years.
Yeah.
You know, I'll turn the lights off or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
He said he's lost control, and you have seen yourselves in the challenge rooms that stuff he has been, even when he tried to control it, he could not.
I look through all of Wellborn's books and try and get an understanding if there's anything else we can do here.
Because you are in a room that has been created by someone else, you don't think there is much else that you would be able to do.
I keep trying to find it as the apprehension of our impending doom makes me want to procrastinate more and more.
Yeah.
It's begun to realise and dawn on me that we're going to have to step back through that door.
Can I roll to see if Sotru notices that Farven is becoming more panicked and anxious at the impending doom?
Yeah, you would do. You just.
Oh,
you
I would
would
just
do.
know.
You would do, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Sotru, aren't you worried about what's going to happen? We could stay in here almost forever and live a blissful life. But we can't run away from our problems, I suppose.
Well, we could stay in here for a lot longer and have a little nice life before we end up dying. Or saving the world, you never know.
Well, we've run the...
I mean, according to Raven, I'm pretty sure it's all rainbow unicorns.
Raven did have quite a liking for unicorns, didn't she?
Yes, it was slightly odd.
So, yeah, you've appeared to reach the plateau.
Definitely, I'd say about 20 minutes ago.
Sorry? What was that, Farven?
It was just the wind. We don't have to listen
It
to
sounded like just a frog.
I think they spent 11 years just slagging Goris and Raven off.
Probably, to be fair.
Do you remember that time, Sotru, when
Oh, I do.
I got confused to put that pill up on Goris's bottom?
You most certainly did not. Oh, the frog.
You tell that story about once every month for the last
Hilarious.
15 years.
It's ballooned up.
And Sotru always laughs.
Oh, how you laugh. Okay, yeah.
Well, we start packing up. We go around the construct and say goodbye to all the broken trees that have been regrown and broken again.
There's a few
Say goodbye
saplings
to the
growing
tower.
there, and yeah, say goodbye to the tower. Yep.
And then we step back through the door.
You go to the door and it will not open.
Oh!
Oh, plot twist!
Oh, I kind of thought we were just going to... I actually spent a while building myself up to this.
I know, but I'm not there.
Okay.
Right.
So,
Let me pause right here, because I like these interjections. In fact, no, we'll hold it. We'll save this for later. We'll save this beauty.
Left and right, they're left and right!
We'll save this beauty for later. Right. So you go to the door and it won't open.
Sotru, maybe...
Sotru tries to open the door.
It doesn't open.
Put your back into it, Sotru.
Sotru tries to attack the door.
It smashes, and there is a black, like where it happened when you first fought Una. There is just a blackness there.
We've not done something right here. Maybe we have to unlock it. Maybe it's been broken from the outside.
maybe we need to burn some of Raven's books.
Sorry, do you have any of Raven's books?
No,
Well,
thank goodness.
And it didn't work the last time we burnt it. Really did it. Okay, I'll go back through the construct books and work out how you unlock a construct. So I go back through the book detailing that stuff.
You're basically looking for debugging stuff because
Yes.
you're looking. You've come across what appears to be a glitch.
Yes.
So you're looking to try and
Work out how to unlock it.
okay.
Or make my own way. Make my own opening. This is
Basically
the
trying to
opening
get back
Wellborn.
to Wellborn and the others.
Yes.
You don't find anything obvious in this book.
Oh, God. Well, okay, maybe this isn't the door we have to go out of. Were there any other doors in the rest of the forest that we've seen or in the tower?
Have we explored the entire area in these 12 years?
Yeah. In fact, yes.
So we've pushed the boundaries of this entire area.
You've pushed the boundaries, and in fact, perhaps, let's say you found a second door, and it was in somewhere else on the other side of the castle, and that was the door that you have been trying, and it has not opened. So you've tried this first door, you tried the second door. So you think, oh yeah, silly me, we should have gone to the second door like every other room, and you go to that second door, and it doesn't open.
How are we going to be Torvidus if we can't even get out of the construct room?
Well, I guess that eventually Wellborn will die, his magic will cease to exist, and we'll be put face to face with all of them.
So
wait it out.
A quick hello to Gorus and Raven, and off we go.
You've been following my readings, haven't you? That's very astute, Sotru.
I don't sleep, so...
So you go through your magical books, you spend, you go to bed, you wake up, try the doors, nothing works. You read through your magical books, you look to how you can get a portal to a different plane of existence, to come back to. You try all these sorts of things. And it just doesn't seem to... Because you are in an illusory world that doesn't exist, it just appears to be putting a block on the magic. You try disenchantment spells, you try portal spells, you try everything you can, and it just doesn't seem to be working. You think that perhaps because you're in this illusory world, it's somehow blocking the magic, in that it's taking you to another world and you're coming back, but it's just somehow it's getting lost in the time because you're going faster, the time dilation, everything. It's just not working. You go through everything you can in this book, and it just does not work.
Sodru, it's been ages now. How long have we been in here trying to open these doors?
I think it might be 5 years.
How long has it actually been?
You had 5 years past.
Oh, Sodru,
10 years.
very good at tracking time.
Can I guess?
No, you can't. You're not here. I'm really bored of this tower. We need bigger digs, I feel. I'm going to cast Mighty Fortress.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been waiting to use this one up. I just need to sit down for a minute.
You create a mighty...
sits down.
Yeah.
Starts humming, and a fortress starts emerging out of the ground.
And it does, and it takes the place of the tower where you were before. You go through this and you start living in this fortress. You start going through every possible iteration and problem that you can. You work through it. You spend years testing and practicing different magics. You unlearn, relearn, you do different spells, and you just appear to have been stuck in this room. You've pushed the boundaries, you've reached the solid walls, you have tried digging your way through imaginary walls, and you are stuck.
What happens when we dig our way through imaginary walls? Does it come out the other side? Does it circle back round?
You reach that, where you've encountered before, you reach that impermeable magical barrier.
Bollocks.
You appear to have fallen into a serious glitch in this construction.
Do you regret coming in now, Sotru?
No, not really. I've had quite a nice time.
There's a whole world up there, though.
There's a whole world in here.
Many, many, many years pass. Farven, you celebrate your 100th birthday. It passes. You celebrate your 200th birthday.
How should we celebrate my 100th birthday? Sorry.
Well, how many unseen servants do you have now that you're such a powerful bastard?
One for every year!
Well, I say it's going to be a pretty fun birthday with all these unseen servants preparing gravel cake.
They go off and they start digging away at the fortress walls, making gravel cake.
So they do that.
How shall I celebrate my 200th birthday, Sotru?
2 gravel cakes.
Okay, that's not really escalating that much, but that's fine.
So if we go back to Gorus and Raven for a moment, guys.
Can I just make a guess?
Yes.
This is what
Guess
I would
what?
do. This is
Guess
how.
for what? You don't know what's happening.
No, this is table talk. This isn't in game.
Yeah, go
What
on.
the fuck is table
This is
talk?
so.
What is
simple.
table talk?
We don't do table talk around here.
It's like pillow talk, but less sexy.
Well, it depends what you're doing on the table.
Well,
So,
D&D.
Robin, don't look at me like that. You know that dome in the room?
Which
they're
dome, yeah.
looking at the cloudy dome. Basically, all they needed to do was smash it or lift it, and they would be in the battlefield. Duh.
I really, really want us to replay that later, just in case.
100%. It's fucking most obvious thing ever.
I
From the
really
beginning
hope
of the
it's not
description.
100%.
Yeah, no, you that probably, but we wouldn't have necessarily been there.
Of course, we wouldn't have been there, but that's the way out. What a bunch of idiots.
I wouldn't have done it though, because I'd have wanted to go with my friends, Goris and Raven. But you know, that's what friendship means.
But you
to
could
me,
have
Raven.
stayed there.
That's fine, Raven. You know, you were never really one of the gang.
Oh, sick burn!
I mean, it's a burn. I'm down in, I'm in Lester Burns' unit, but it's also a fact.
As one of the things that you try, you smash the pedestal, and it's broken, and you do not find yourself falling.
Why did I bring the pedestal? It was the best feature in the room.
Farven, you're far too violent.
I'm sorry, I don't know what got over me. That was so stupid of me. What a stupid bastard I am.
If only there was someone who had given you such a silly idea we could use as an example.
You spend a year learning
Wait a minute.
How to fix the pedestal.
Wait a
how to
minute.
fix a pedestal.
Yeah, that's
You
why
fix
my
it.
spare time is like model making.
The pedestal is under the dome.
Sorry,
The pedestal is under the dome.
it's just like a looking glass.
Yeah.
So why didn't... I just say...
Why didn't it work?
What's the dome got?
Because it's an illusory.
So they
it's
could
not
have just
real.
walked through the mirror.
Oh yes!
What?
100% walking through the middle wall.
Mirror.
Called Mira.
What mirror?
Where's the dome connected to? The pedestal?
Right, it's just like a small table with a dome of glass
Yeah.
that they were looking through. It's like a half snow globe
So, like,
that they
Yeah.
were looking in.
You know when you have like a bird statue and there's water and you
Yeah.
imagine that, except for it's a dome of glass you're looking into, and it's just
And they
something
smashed
to
it, and it
hold.
would just turn out to be a viewing
That's
glass
it.
with no physical nature of it.
Yeah.
They've created doors. They've gone there. It appears that
Well, I think there would have been a better adventure if
Oh, here we go. I'm 100% sure. Your adventure is shit.
I don't know why we made you be silent for the rest of the session. We definitely could have used your input.
Go on, Tom. Go on with your game.
So, Goris, you're floating around. You're
Chilling, it's only been a few
You're
seconds.
clam-lining. In fact, at one point, you were going clockwise, and Raven is cartwheeling anti-clockwise together, and you were going round and round Wellborn, and he's there trying not to look at you as this is occurring.
Don't worry, Wellborn, I'm got this.
I thought he was trying to help Wellborn.
He is, but he's doing it from a...
He's trying.
Yeah.
I was just hugging him.
Are you're still
Yeah.
hugging him from back? Okay. You
I'm
just
just
take a break to do the
providing
cartwheel.
emotional, physical support.
You sharpen your knives, everything. About half an hour passes. None of them. You're trying to work out time. You don't know how quickly this room is going. From your experience, it might be 10 seconds in here is an hour in there. It might be 10 seconds in here is 2 hours in there. But you have no idea how it's going. At several points, you see sort of Wellborn fidget and you see his arms go. And at the end of about 45 minutes, the door opens and Sotru and Farven and the three constructs,
They'll be
You can
devoted.
say the three amigos if you want.
the three amigos
They'll be devoted.
Do we want that?
step through. Now, players, from your, we'll rewind slightly, and we'll go back to Sotru and Farven. Guys, many, many years pass. Farven, your 200th birthday goes and passes. Your 300th.
300?
Does Farven
Formation
does
now!
Farven grow facial hair?
If you
I have, yes. Just wisps, though. I try and braid it into something looking good.
you
Well,
have
there's
the
some, like,
most
Viking-
intense braids from your
do.
wispy beard. You
My
learn.
hair's down by my knees.
You learn a spell to make yourself grow a proper beard if you want. You go through that. You go through all the different stages.
I've learned from Sotru. No!
Hey,
Sotru, you
I
go.
grew my moss. Thank you very
So-
much.
I know you did! In the most awkward way
In
possible!
the best way possible.
Sotru, you go through different phases. You dreadlock your moss. It goes
Fair
out.
enough.
You go through. You shave it. You go through different.
Oof, no, I don't shave
All
it.
sorts
It doesn't happen. No, sorry.
Do you connect the dreadlocks into some weird, like, ropey
Like
type
so
gown?
I can
You tie them
lash a dragon.
Yes! Yes! This is what we've been training for, Sotru! This is exactly what
I'd
we've been
like to see
training
how
for!
many times you thought you'd done something that might finally open the door. You're like, and is it doing this? No, it wasn't that. Like, sorry,
quite
like,
big
what if
stretches,
I
right?
throw this tree over here? Thought, no, it's not that.
You go through phases. You destroy everything. You try and get out of them. You're just left with impermeable stone walls around you. You destroy the construct itself from inside, but you cannot get out until 23 years after your 500th birthday.
Yes!
500 years in this construct,
solved it.
this illusionary
I
room.
think I've solved it this time, Sotru!
I think you may have, Farven, old man.
You try the door, as you have done many, many times
It's
before.
become a ritual! We have the opening of the door ritual!
Does
Farven need to roll Constitution for the shock of opening the door successfully?
No.
Does Sotru?
But this time you turn it, and there is a click.
Oh, I fixed it actually! I think it was you had to turn and pull!
Oh, you had to turn
You have to
left
go
instead of
up
right.
first. I went up
No, it's
first.
always the anti-clockwise, not the clockwise.
Yes.
Good
And
job.
You step out into the room that
this
looks
is familiar.
exactly the same before, the antechamber.
Oh, the light's too bright, Farven.
We were in the forest.
Where are my glasses?
We were in the forest. It's quite bright in here.
Hello, guys! Oh, no, not
You're in
that
the
one,
antechamber.
Sorry. Bye, guys!
I hear something familiar.
You make your way forward to the second door.
Oh, fucking hell.
Open it.
we can't open that either.
1,000 years in here.
You open it, and you see the same room that you saw.
The forest again?
The forest. It's like no. You see Goris and you see Wellborn standing as they were when you remember 525.
It's like from a past life. Doesn't even seem like we're the same.
So I'll leave it up to you to
people now.
describe the two figures that walk out of this antechamber.
Yes. So Farven has long white hair now, braided, and a long white beard down to his knees.
Very wizardy.
Very wizardy.
Hat.
No hat.
Fuck. You're a wizard. You have to have a hat.
I've never worn a hat.
I know. That's the point.
He's not wearing a hat. No, he's not. In fact, he's just wearing a loincloth.
I would have brought it away, yeah.
Yeah.
500 years.
So he doesn't care about being naked around summer.
You didn't-
In fact, he's naked. He's naked.
You didn't decide to go for it.
Yes, he's wearing a moss loincloth as well. He's got a moss loincloth. Not
Yes.
from yours. I'm
No,
sorry.
it's from.
Oh,
Sotru.
it
is from me.
That's how
I
close
made
we
you
are.
wear it.
500 years.
Yeah, 500 years, to be fair.
I've got moss in my hair as well, like growing in a moss
Like,
set.
do you remember the three amigos
Yes.
have had already some moss?
Yes.
So it took 394 years. I'm going to stop banging. 394 years before I was ready to moss you up.
But finally,
Who's the daddy here now? You have also, in that time, you have learnt the most powerful spell known to a wizard, that being Wish.
I should just wish my way out. Well, I wish the door open. Oh, I should just wish for the bloody door to open.
You only learnt it just before
Yes.
you did the left turn.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I get it now.
My wishes come true. I understand.
It's almost like you're in, what's one of those cages, that thingy cage that means you can't,
Oh, cage.
there's no magnet.
Chinese
and,
finger trap.
Like,
Like
There's
where
no
they
magnet in a cage.
I know, like where they put Magneto in
Yeah.
X-Men.
I wish I knew that reference.
I'll give you a clue. It's from X-Men.
Get out.
No, but genuinely, I don't remember. And I watched.
Is it like an electric?
Anyway.
Faraday cage.
That's it.
Faraday cage.
You appear to have been in.
That's the opposite of what you want to put Magneto in.
Yeah, it's not literally, isn't
It's
it?
literally the opposite.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but magic.
Oh, you
I
talking
make
about
it
the
was
plastic
the glass.
cage?
Yeah, the plastic
The
cage.
magic.
Yeah.
Like a
Sorry, I
magic
was thinking
Faraday
from
cage.
not from the film.
I know,
Anyway,
don't worry.
so
It definitely yeah.
Farven. Anyway,
Example.
Magneto would laugh.
I don't know
Farven.
what, we should have a movie night together one day.
Farven, you step out. You're naked. Your beard goes down to your feet.
Yes.
So were they in there 1,000 years, or is this episode 1,000 years long?
I don't know. You tell me. You've got.
No, it just feels that way. You're naked. Just moss around your cock.
Gorus, it's been so long.
Oh my God, those glasses! It's Farven. What the hell happened?
Do you
to
still have the glasses?
Come here. No, I fixed my eyes.
Fuck you, your glasses. Fuck you, Chorus.
Holding them.
All right.
He's got no pocket anymore.
I wear it as a necklace around my.
It's to remember when you were weak.
Farven, you look so different.
Gorus, come here. Farven shambles over to Gorus.
I'm going to zoom over my clouds.
And,
Boom!
and Farven jumps up and hugs Gorus.
Oh my God, you've got no clothes on.
Gorus, it's been so long.
What happened?
It's like you're an old dream, but I'm awake.
How long were you in there?
So long.
500 years.
Sorry, I gave up counting. Sorry was the only one that counted.
Yeah, well, we'll go. Sorry.
Oh my Lord. Thoru, you don't seem to have changed much at all, but your moth looks incredible.
What does your moss look
You've
like?
dreadlocked it into ropes.
So Sotru actually has a beard now.
Whoa, that beard looks awful.
He has a moss beard, but he still has a bald head.
He's been religiously shaving the top of his head. Right.
Alice, this might get very weird for you.
And his like moss on his body has grown so long he's had to like braid it, so he's wrapped in these moss braids.
So he's like the Michelin Man, but with moss braids.
Yes, pretty much, yeah.
Right.
That's actually
and
that's
me,
a
Boo, and
great
Bob, it's
reference.
nice to see you guys as well.
Are they mossed up as well?
Oh, they followed suit.
Yeah.
It would be a bit. They don't have beards though. That's for the leader.
How do we always get into cultism?
like a wolf pack.
Hey Raven, look, they're back and they're old.
Hey guys!
Raven, you're here too.
Oh,
Give me a
no!
Farven shuffling over to Raven.
Raven does the backflip away. I'm really pleased to see you, but I just hi.
Cut you off. You're going circles.
Soru signals for
Soru,
the
trap
three
her in.
amigos to trap Raven
Trap her
and
in.
hug as a team with Farven, while Soru chases Gorus and gives him a big,
I don't know.
big squeeze.
Right, Raven, you're
I use my elusive evasion and uncanny dodge
I
abilities.
wish that you don't.
That's the best use of
How many wish uses of
Wait. Are you actually? They're not. Are you?
No, I just meant I wish you didn't do that. Quick, before my loincloth falls off. Give me a hug.
I love you, but I don't want to touch
Is it like a green moss sock? Is it like one of those? Like a,
Oh!
No, it's got sides as well.
it's got, right.
It goes up the bum.
Oh, it's not a loincloth then. If it, oh,
No, loincloth goes round you. Don't
Yeah.
put a loincloth on your feet.
How far?
I thought a loincloth is just like a
How
flap.
far up the
No,
bone does
Tony,
it
it's
go?
kind of round.
It's just like it's like almost like a
It's not your thing
skirt.
of a cup. It's not a mossy cup.
Oh, right.
It's not rugby.
I've got a mossy cup and mossy nipples and a tail.
Hey, could they
That
use
could
their
come
magic to
useful.
make themselves young again?
Why would we want
If he
to?
wants to burn. Indeed. Why would you want to?
You might
Sorry's
not.
fine.
You will never die, but he might die.
No, he won't.
I'll still live longer than you.
Also, if
I
all
was
he
saying
dies
that-
quite soon, I might have something to help with that.
We're all about to die. I've literally run the tests.
Someone tell Well.
And you've lived a full life. Unlike these guys.
Wellborn. I say Wellborn.
You're not dying young. It's massively unfair.
I've also got news for you, Gorus. Sorry, tell them how long before your powers wore off.
About 1 hour. Oh, 15 minutes and you're up!
He's joking. He's got a good sense of humour. But seriously, though, they're gone. Those powers, they're going to be gone soon.
Oh, hang on.
No, it was. You reckon
It was 2
probably-
to 3 years.
It was about 1 to 2.
That was Sotru making a joke.
Oh.
Yeah, wait,
Hilarious.
sorry, mate. Farven went.
P.S. That's pivotal. He's never made a joke before.
So
Yes.
Farven now laughs like
That's
Sotru.
Yeah, I love it.
It's a great joke.
I mean, these are the first people. These are the first people you've talked to that are actually humans.
I go and see Wellborn and
I'm
say,
not
Wellborn, Wellborn, they're back. You can stop what you're doing on the other side.
He's sort of there. And he said, "What do you mean the other side?"
Well, I don't know, but I'm just telling you they're back now, and don't hug one of them. Bye. Bye. Good luck in death.
So
Too late, Farven. Relax is on.
you see his left hand go from the door from which you have just come out of, and go to the door that I described that was in the centre. A door. This is the first room that you've been in that now has 3 doors, and he points there, and he says, "Go quick. Time is still of the essence, as long as it has been for you, Farven." And he's just pointing towards that 3rd door.
Off we go to our impending doom.
Lovely.
So to set the scene, basically, there's a flying black dragon in the middle of the room, burning to death all of our allied mages. We need to get on that dragon, stop it from killing them, and we've got to save those mages, and then deal with the most powerful wizard known to man.
So easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Easy peasy. Well, if you've got a cloud, easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Go wow. Okay.
And you make your way towards that 3rd door. You go towards the handle and you turn it. It doesn't open. It does. It's a
No,
joke.
you've got to lift it up, then down, then pull it
No,
around.
it's just turn anti-clockwise 3 times and then clockwise twice.
We both have our different techniques, you know.
No, 500 years of
Up
this.
Up and down camp, he's in the clockwise, anti-clockwise camp. He's an idiot! he's got, you know, he just believes.
So, Doris is looking sad and confused. I love both my friends. Both my friends to each other.
Farven, did you bring my dagger back?
Oh no!
Is that not around your neck like your glasses?
I was
Fell
kind of,
off with my clothes! Let me
worried.
check, I pull up my loincloth. No, I got it! I've actually got it, I remember!
It was that day when we ran out of toilet paper.
Yes!
I used a knife.
The handle!
I take it very gingerly and I rub it in the sand. I say thank you. I hope it helped you escape.
Yes, on this one day when we ran out of toilet paper!
And you turn the handle on the door. And with that, we will leave this 500-year episode there. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Literally, thank you for listening.
The Formal Gamer, podcasts for those with exquisite taste.